Peace and harmony to the collective. I'm sending love to the universe and to everyone who is watching this video. I want to share some words of wisdom with you. Free mind, free spirit. All for one and one for all. Affirmation in harmony. 19 times 9 equals 171. Love. Scroll number 10. Peace and harmony. What is reincarnation? Reincarnation is refined as the rebirth of the soul into another body. That life is valuable only for the passing moment. It teaches that the soul never dies, and when the body dies, it is reborn. This continuous process of rebirth is called incarnation. There is no end to existence, and human beings lives over and over again until it achieves spiritual perfection. Then the soul enters a new level of existence from which it never returns. The link between life on earth and the life after death are connection between the two lives. The life on earth and the life after death. Death does not end life, but instead opens the door, or is the door, to a higher form of life for the selected. Death is another stage of development. Knowledge of the seven heavens will increase the understanding of life and death. From the moment of birth, the soul is traveling the road to death. Every individual must live his life with the knowledge that he or she too will someday face death. But birth is the breath of life. What are the two lives? The two lives are the life in earth and the life after death. Death is the door which takes you from one life to the next life. You can solve the riddles of life and death there. There are 6 stages. 1. Without life, before the use of sperm to fertilize the ovary. 2. Life. The sperm was mixed with the ovary equal fertile. 3. Die. In the womb of the mother, you are not your own provider. 4. Birth. Lifetime on earth, breath of life. 5. Death. Loss of breath of life. 6. Life after death. The day of standing day of judgment. Last day you walk the firmament, your higher self. What is life? Life is the time that you spend on the earth. At any point from birth, the string may be broken and you will return to a spiritual state. And no matter how long the string is, each person must someday taste death. Free mind, free spirit. All for one and one for all. Affirmation in harmony. 19 times 10 equals 190. Love. Scroll number 11. Peace and harmony. What is death? Death is simply the removal of breath of life. What you do during life determines what happens to your soul after death. Were you thankful or unthankful? When a person dies, in a majority of cases, the dying person sinks into the slumber of death and awakens after a period of restful transformation. In some cases, there is a brief awakening, like a semi-awakening from a dream. Shortly after the departure, the spiritual body may appear visible to a friend or a loved one. The spirit soon becomes drowsy and sinks into the preliminary sleep of the spiritual plane. Human beings should not weep at death, but rejoice when and welcome its presence, because the Elohim God within you has blessed you with old age. In that, as life progresses, human beings are slowed down and prevented from entertaining bad habits and sinful acts. Old age allows the body to rest from harmful activities. Old age prepares human beings, Homo sapiens, for their inevitable judgment of the Elohim God within you. So escape not from the possibility to becoming elders, for it is an honored gift from Elohim God within you that not everyone receives. But yet, suicide is the worst kind of death. Again, but yet, suicide is the worst kind of death. While living, if you fulfilled all the qualities and commandments by mandatory laws of life and righteousness, gain you what we call paradise, are more assured. On the other hand, if you were involved in the acts of wrongdoings, then you should try to grant an extend chance to amend your ways and atone for your evil actions, and pray for old age as a chance to cool off and start all over again, to be reborn, not of the body but of the etheric being, in order to transform when the time comes. There are two types of death. One is the physical death, and two is the spiritual death. In the physical death, you will dissipate and go back into the earth, and the other is where your spirit dies and goes back into the universe. This is the spiritual death, which is the higher you. The higher you, that highly spiritual energies comes from. The physical body has two life cords, the umbilical cord and the etheric cord. The thin cobweb like the etherical cord is invisible only to the naked eye, yet it is the link between the physical body and the spiritual plane. Just as at birth the umbilical cord is cut and you are released from your mother, at death the etherical cord is cut when you die, and you are freed from the physical plane. Only if you master desires, a person may not pass the physical plane into the spiritual plane, but through death. Free mind, free spirit. All for one and one for all. Affirmation in harmony. 19 times 11 equals 209. Love. Scroll number 12. peace and harmony. What is the spiritual plane? The spiritual plane is the plane where you decide whether you move to a higher plane or burn out your desires for the physical, lower plane. The term spiritual senses represent a secondary set of senses corresponding to the senses of the physical world. In other words, the earthly senses of hearing, seeing, feeling, smelling, and tasting have spiritual counterparts, by which the spiritual body receives impressions. These 5 physical senses are really one. When you condense the 5 human senses, you actually come out with one sense, and that is the sense of feel, touch. Because taste is a sense of touch. Matter touches taste buds, and smell is also a sense of touch. Particles touches nerves that reacts to smell. To hear is a sense of touch because sound waves touches the eardrums and then causes it to vibrate. Also, to see is a sense of touch because light has to touch the corneas to enter iris, which enables you to see. How many senses does the human body actually have? The human body has 9 senses and not 5. Psychometry, intuition, telepathy, clairvoyance, touch, taste, hear, smell, and feel. Only 5 are mentioned because all others are a form of the greatest one sense, feeling, touch. And the other 4 higher senses are not sufficiently developed because of the removal of the batherial gland. Your 4 higher senses are telepathy, which is a mental communication or the transference of thoughts from one being to another without the use of words or wires. Intuition, which is the quick perception of truth by the mind without the intervention of any process of thought. Psychometry, which is object reading, the ability to identify or tell something about an object by picking up thought waves implanted by someone previously with the article. Lastly, there is clairvoyance, which is the ability to see into other dimension, second sight, and awareness of distant objects and events. These 4 senses also comes down to one sense, perception. Telepathy, psychometry, intuition, and clairvoyance are all each sense of perception. When you get to the 5 physical senses, it is already established that they are all one sense, touch. And to touch is to perceive. Thus, you only have one sense, and that is perception. You need your spirit body, which can be seen only by means of spiritual vision. Yet, to men disciplined enough on the physical plane, the spiritual body may be seen in the form of a vapor matter, which is often alluded to as a ghost. The spiritual also can be visited without death if one masters the desire of the physical plane. The spiritual body differs from the physical body in that it lives longer. However, even the spiritual body is not immortal. It finally disintegrates and also resolves into its original elements. If the etherical cord is broken by accident on the spiritual plane, the physical body, which lies in a state of sleep, dies, and the spirit can never return to the physical body. Free mind, free spirit. All for one and one for all. Affirmation in harmony. 19 times 12 equals 228. Love. Scroll number 13. Peace and harmony. What are planes? There are 7 planes. The lowest and the slowest is the material plane, while the fastest and highest is the plane where one is in total union with the all. The highest and the lowest form that has been detected is that of vibration. Everything is vibration, which manifests itself in different modes and scams. The expression of vibration is called a mood. Each mood acts and reacts continuously, carrying out the life processes. These moods make up what is known to us as planes. Planes are moods and scams of vibrations, existing in very unique and unified forms. Moods of vibration may be likened to the varied degrees of temperature, such as extremely low or extremely high. The natural mood of vibration ranges from very high and fast to very low and slow. The 7 planes, heavens, are the material plane, the plane of force, the spiritual plane, the mental plane, the plane of divine truth, the plane of divine reality, the realm of the all. The 7 planes are in tune with the 7 senses, which are in tune with the spiritual spinal column, the cranial nerves, by which flows the light of the Most High through the body. These planes are also in tune with the sympathetic nervous system, which brings in the electromagnetic force field of the aura to break the law of gravitation. You must raise your energies to radiate your aura, enabling you to pass through the 7 planes. These spiritual forces in human beings are available to he or she whose mental force field is submissive to the revitalization and entering of a new life into the physical body. For the Most High breathed into the body of man the breath of life, and man became a living, breathing soul. What is the material plane? The material plane is the plane upon which human beings dwells. This plane is partly made of solid, liquid, and gases. What is the plane of force? The plane of force, which is the second plane, is where the ultra-fine ether penetrates the higher region of the physical plane. Just as you're not able to detect the higher ethers 9 to the 9th power of 9 because your sensors are not conditioned. The plane of force and material plane works together in perfect harmony. These forces control the forces that result in what we know to be nature. These higher forces can also be held accountable for the many so-called wonders and supernatural phenomena of the material plane. The plane of force, also called the energy plane, consists of ordinary forms of energy like heat, light, attraction, and electricity, as well as those forms of energy that are inner, that gives human beings and nature that vitality and ability to grow and reproduce. This vital force that sets life on the physical into motion and is responsible for growth and reproduction is called spirit, the life force. The plane of force is perfectly woven into all matter. On the matter plane, the basis or mother of matter is nature, and nature is resulted from the plane of force. On this plane of force, one is not subject to gravitation, or at least not the same degrees of gravitation. Gravitation, as well as the rest of the forces that controls Earth, are on a higher refined basis on the force plane. The plane of force is governed by a very positive force called attraction, not desire. As on the physical plane, what is actually the spiritual plane? The spiritual plane is the third of the 7 planes. It is also called the astral plane. On the spiritual plane, we discover we have another set of senses, but these are much different than the set of senses that we are familiar with. They are our spiritual senses. Though they are spiritual, they may be considered counterparts of our physical senses, both of which are 7 in number. The spiritual plane is the plane of judgment on which you decide whether you move to a higher plane or burn out your desires for the physical plane. The spiritual plane is where you exalt all individuality, such as pride, conceit, greed, fear, hate, and jealousy.